and welcome back to yet another podcast. It's been a busy period here, but it's a busy time in Trackmania. We have the upcoming Trackmania Grand League coming up. The players has just been announced, and guess what? This season we will have the pride of Brazil joining us, the first player from South America. Matt, welcome to the podcast. How are you, man?
Hi. Uh, I'm fine. I am very excited to be here, and yeah.
For people that might not know who you are, might not know seeing your playing, might not know who you really are, can you tell us what do we need to know about Matt before we jump into this podcast and the topics we have in front of us?
So I am. What word can I use to describe myself? I don't know. I'm a player. I I've played too much of this game and in many different styles. I've come to Trackmania with lunatic style. I tried tech. I tried a bit of everything. And now I'm playing for Spacestation Gaming for the upcoming Trackmania Gel season, and I'm one of the 16 players of the invited league. Last year, yes, it's still this year. This year, I went to the ZrT Cup, 9th. I don't even remember that.
It's the seventh edition.
7th edition. Yeah, I'm not good with numbers. uh, and what else has to be known from me? I don't know. I'm from Brazil.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the most important part. That you are the pride of South America, the face of
Yeah,
South America in Trackmania, right?
exactly.
But
Brazil already had its good players, but I don't know.
yeah,
I'm here now.
so we obviously have some parts in Europe that is more what to say when the Trackmania is more blowing, it's more popular game. You are from a region and a continent where Trackmania is not really popular. Can you tell us how did you even find out about Trackmania? How do you find out about joining a game like Trackmania in Brazil?
I found it out. Uh, I don't remember if it was 2010, 2011. I found out in a site that you had all the free games, and I had a very bad netbook that was even like super small notebook. And the best free game, or like the most downloaded free game for racing, was TMSWC. So I just downloaded it, played with my 5 FPS, had great times with it. And already in 2011, I moved to TM Forever, and I never had a real community like of Brazilians. No one from my city ever played, nothing. I just played with whoever I could find on online servers. And yeah, already I think on late 2012, maybe 2013. I don't remember the dates exactly. I joined MOT with Virtual, all the Knock, all the boys that are in there now, and I my community on Trackmania ended up being a community focused mostly on people from Europe, not really from Brazilian people. So I never had contact really with Brazilian people or South American people until I don't know they asked me to play the Nations Cup, and I'm like, hey, other people from South America actually play this game. I didn't knew that before.
But have you ever tried then to? My way was that a friend showed me the game. Did you ever try to show some friends that hey, I found this new cool game that I spent a lot of time on. Maybe you will also like it, or have you just kept this as a secret or personal secret?
I really tried. I tried a lot with my classmates, and yeah, it ended up being the reason for a joke. It's like, look at that guy. He plays Trackmania. My other friends just used to do that, and now I can use. They themselves already use that as an argument. We used to make fun of you because of that, and now you're playing France because of that. And
Yeah.
that was mostly it. I think maybe one of my friends, my cousin, actually played Trackmania, but he only likes to play RPG. That's it. The only
Mm.
person I actually brought to the game.
But you're now having friends of you telling that they follow your Trackmania career since you play that Serato Cup and such, or
Yeah, I have most of my friends already. I don't know. They already start saying they are my biggest fans. I have some of my friends that already, even that they don't understand what is going on. They sub to me on Twitch. They watch me on Twitch, try to learn about the game. The mom of one of my friends already says that she's my the number one fan. Whatever my face shows up, she will always be there supporting me. It's like they're most of now people from here are here for my face, not really for the game. So
And hope.
it's definitely unexpected and makes my heart really go warm. Yeah.
Yeah. So once they see the face of the thumbnail here on the Trackmania podcast, they will tune in and watch this podcast, right?
Well, yeah, they could if they understood English. Probably not.
So,
Sadly.
is there a lot of people in Brazil nowadays, even that don't speak English at your age, or?
I would say, at least in my city, it's the big majority. For most people, for example, that I know that are from the Trackmania scene from other states, they do know English. That I think it's more widespread around São Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. There are like states that ended up being more focused on traveling stuff. I don't know where people from other countries come there, so they already have to have this focus on knowing English. And at least here at my city, it's we I have a I know a lot of people that do know English, but it's still not really much.
Hmm.
They mostly only know how to like to they understand what you say, but they can talk.
Yeah, okay. But can you narrow it down? And I know some couple of cities. Is Sao Paulo, is Rio de Janeiro, is Brasilia. Where are you in Brazil? Where are you from?
I am from Soledade. It's a city. It's a very small city. It's around 27,000 inhabitants on the southeast most. I don't know if southeast is correct.
Yeah, sure.
Most state of Brazil. It's like down there,
Yeah, yeah.
very down there. It's close to Uruguay as well. We have borders with Uruguay, and it's normally the coldest when it's winter, when it's cold, and it's as well very hot whenever it's summer as well. Just I don't know because I don't understand that geography part, but there's a reason for that.
So what is the weather like these days? Here in Norway, we have the dark time where it's no sun at all. How is your everyday life looking when you look at the weather?
For the last days, I don't know. I guess we have around more than 25 degrees during the day. At night, it goes to around 18, depending of the day. And then we have those summer rains that it just rains a lot in a short time span. And before it starts getting really hot, and after it rains, it still is very hot. So uh, it's. I am very glad that I finally got an air conditioner for this room, so I can play Trackmania GL without actually having to be shirtless and sweating.
But are you a type of guy that enjoys the climate that you have in South America? I was studying in Peru for 6 months, and most of the Peruvians they didn't even like the hot climate too much. They even liked the winter more when it was around 15 instead of having 40 and such.
Uh, I personally am a guy that prefers colder temperatures, but I would say I don't know if I'm an exception or not. I know most of my friends, for example, real life friends, they really prefer the hot temperatures. They really like it. But I think for me, it's like I prefer cold temperatures. But if it's not that hot, like when I was in Europe and it was 37 degrees in Strasbourg, that hot, I really dislike. If it's 25 degrees
Yeah,
and I don't need to be shirtless, it's a good
yeah.
parameter for me liking the weather or not.
And by the way, people think that if this is a premiere, this is not a premiere. This is completely live. So if you have a question to ask Matt, to ask the guy from Brazil, now it's a chance. You can ask in the chat, and I will try to bring it up. But Matt, let's get into the Trackmania scene. How long did it take before you played casually until you maybe tried to become a better player and try to take it maybe more seriously? If you try to take it more seriously nowadays.
Uh, I might have gotten my a little lost because I was trying to mute my microphone while coughing.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So I would just ask, how long did it take for you since you started the game until you maybe saw the potential that you had to become a good player and started to take it serious?
Okay. I think I for sure I've played 5 years. It was 2011 or 12. It was around 2016 or 17. I started like just thinking to myself like, damn, I can be good at retarded maps. I can be good at shitfest maps, at everything that people really dislike. I can be good at this. So I was playing one RPG Cup, and then now I know this part of this history, but I knew it different back then. Milmi just joined one server, and he just asks me if I want to try team tech in TM2. It was TMNF. So I just said like, I don't know, why not? I just went for the move to try to actually learn. I was kind of wanting to do that, but there was uh I was like, it's not going to come from the sky. Someone and say, if you want to come to TM2 to try. I just thought I would have to do it by myself, so it was just not doing it and not doing it. And then it actually happened, and Milby just showed out of nowhere. It's like, come play with us, and I went. But now that I know the history, he actually asked Virtual first. Virtual denied, and Milby was like, damn, I can't go out of here with empty hands. So he just asked me and accepted.
You were a second choice.
Yes.
But you said that now that you enjoy playing maybe some shitfest maps, some bad maps, was that also what you liked to play in the start? That maybe not having these polished maps, or what kind of maps did you play once you started your Trackmania career and enjoyed your once you first entered the game of Trackmania?
I think when I played on SWC, I don't remember when, 2010, 11, I used to only play LoL map servers. And when I switched to TM Forever, I only played on one server, Specnus Hard LoL server. It was a Lunatic server. I played all the time, every time I could until I got rank 1, and then the server went down. It was a great experience. But yeah, I mostly played Lunatics. I've had one friend, even I think in 2013 or 12, made a birthday video for me showing my replays, and he cites me as Lunatixer with an extra X on the middle, Cutter, and Lucker. Like that would be a positive quality.
but
So yeah, I really played those kind of maps
but
back then already.
what do you think is the reason why you enjoy this type of maps? I mean, most people maybe like to have some consistency in the maps where they can finish every round. Once you play Lunatic, it's basically more the challenge about finishing it once. It's maybe not finishing it every time, and you're just happy that you even finish a map.
I would say that I felt really good because most people on the server were struggling to finish the map.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was not trying to finish. I was trying to finish it at the fastest I could. I was going for local one all the time. If the map was hard and many people hadn't finished, I was just trying to finish it as many times as I could, as fast as I could. And it most of the time I could do it, and that was a good feeling for me. That's why I sticked with it. I liked the challenge to try to finish something that was not only hard but to do it fast.
Hmm. So you would say that do you have a special talent for these type of maps? Can you put a finger on it and say why are you better than others at finishing these type of maps and maybe seeing potential tricks or a potential way to even finish these maps when people like myself have no chance of finishing them?
I guess from back then I have no clue. I really don't understand. I just maybe had too much free time. I ended up learning how the car worked too fast because from what I see now or what I think the way I do stuff on Trackmania now as well as playing trials is I just am able to predict. I can imagine what the car is going to do, and I can already prepare my inputs or etc. to try to do something. I just know the probabilities. I know what the car can do because of playing the game for that long time. But back then, this shouldn't apply. It might do, but I don't remember as well. It was too long ago. I just remember that I used to be able to do that, and
Hmm.
I and for example, one of my friends just kept trying to move me on trial for 1 year, and I just wouldn't go because trial is too long maps. And one day he actually convinced me, and I went into it, and yeah, just discovered that trials would be lunatics with many lunatics, or at least that was the way I thought back
Yeah.
then. Many lunatics inside of one map, and it was harder to do it fast because then you had to one shot everything in a row. Hmm? I broke my chair. It's
That's a
fine.
silly start.
Fixed.
Okay. So let's narrow this down. People, more new people or new fans of Trackmania might seem to struggle. What is the difference between an RPG map and then a trial map, like you basically described now? What is the main difference we need to know about these type of styles?
uh, RPG, it's you can describe it in many ways. It can be a map where you have to find your path. It can be platform tech is already a decent explanation to what RPG can be as well. It's a map that is usually, I don't know, over 6 minutes around that time span. It can involve many tricks that wouldn't be doable in any other style. You wouldn't see tricks like that involving, for example, rings and respawns all the time in tech or FS. And then it's just a different way to play the game. It goes to the say it was named RPG because a lot of the maps from back in the days had histories. You used media tracker to tell a history to make the player go through a different experience. And then trial is just you try to make a map that at least back then it was a map that is as hard as the author could finish. It, depending of the map, it really had no no chills. It was like 90 checkpoints that just made the player actually whoever was going to play this that would suffer. It's basically a map that at some point it turned too hard.
Yeah.
People would started using after like describing them into levels. For example, trial that is too easy is as well a very hard RPG. You could so mix in between those two styles, or a RPG that is too hard. You could actually say this is actually a trial. So
Hmm.
they can be connected, but most of the time it's a total different focus on both of those maps.
Hmm. So, have you ever tried to play a map that you yourself found too difficult or too long, you didn't even bother? Or are you a guy that once you start something, you want to finish a map no matter how long it is, no matter how hard it is? I mean, I've seen Spam on his stream, he's played some maps for, I don't know, 7 hours, 8 hours. Are you also this kind of guy, or have you a limit?
Uh, Back then I think I I would reach that limit easier. Uh, but normally I would reach that limit. For example, if I'm playing a trial and it's 3 hours and I can't get through a checkpoint, that and failing at the last trick by a little bit
Yeah.
for like the fifth time in a row, that would make me rage quit. But most of the time, it's just like I'm already here. I need to finish this. The mentality I had back then was I was playing in a server. I want to get rank one. That's the only purpose I had. So if I rage quit, the local isn't going to count. It's not going to count in my rank, so I have to finish. But yeah, I definitely found maps that ended up being too hard, especially Simo maps, Black Psyllium, the maps that were meant to be really too hard.
Hmm. But is there a map that you felt proud about finishing that maybe, okay, now I'm actually a good player? Or was it more like a slow progress where you just over time realize that you're a good player? Or was there a certain time or a certain period that you realized, okay, maybe now I'm actually decent at this game?
Uh, and I don't know. Actually, I never thought like that. I never wanted to brag about stuff and probably ended up doing it because yeah. But uh, before, for example, when there was a trial team, T3,
Yeah.
it's one of TMNF's trial teams, and I didn't play most of the trials that people actually consider hard or use to enter the trial because you had a requirements maps required to join the team. I didn't even bother playing that. I was just playing anything that came on the server. Up until one day, I finished one map, did VR. It was a hard map. It wasn't the map for the list. And Nixon just told me, "You were actually too good at trial. Why aren't you on T3?" And just sent me the tag. And I ended up joining as a special member. And people were like, "He didn't do the things. We don't know if Zach he can be good enough to join the team." And so I just went on and finished all the requirements and many more other maps. And I just noticed, hey, I can do this. I could have joined normally. I just didn't bother before.
You got the VIP access there, straight in.
Yeah. uh, oh no, it happened again. So yes, let's see how this look on the stream. I don't know. Oh,
Hello.
he's coming back.
He's coming back. Jesus Christ. Here we go, Softy 2.0. So I guess if this happens, yeah. Sorry for people who are listening to this, but yeah, my Discord is acting up. But we'll try to continue. And meanwhile, once I disconnect, you have the opportunity to write some questions in the live chat on YouTube. But the question I was about to ask you before that, once you were an up and coming player in trial and in Trackmania overall, was there someone you looked up to, someone you idolized, someone you thought was, okay, this is the best player that is around in Trackmania and someone I want to beat and someone, this is a level I want to achieve myself?
Hmm. I guess because I ended up sticking very long with the RPG community, even though I never used to play RPG Cup maps unless it was for a cup. Uh, I would say I looked up to the guys that were consistent at the game. I looked up to Hillisad, to Virtual. I looked up to Reax as well as he is a very good RPG player and trial player. I just had that I didn't knew much about TM2. I never had any interest in following tech scenes or dirt scenes. I just played whatever was on. Ended up I still always played LOL maps. I just I just looked at the server, and if there was a guy that was consistently up to the top, I wanted to beat him, and that was it.
Hmm.
I didn't have much contact with the guys that were actually top level at that moment.
So so once you were playing, did you ever follow some streams, try to watch some YouTube matches, or was it your sole focus in Trackmania to play the game, or was it expanding to something that you wanted to watch and something you want to follow some content as well?
I've everything that was on YouTube. I would like since 2012 already. Every video that I could find that I hadn't watched, I would watch. I would watch everything. Maybe have watched some videos too many times, especially horror lol videos.
Oh yeah.
But uh, uh, I basically felt like I would most of the time just play. I I knew a stream was happening and stuff was going on. For example, I could see that the others were watching it, but I just couldn't contain myself to actually just be there watching. I really wanted to play. If if I saw someone streaming and playing something, I would want to enter on his in the same server as him and play whatever he was playing. I would, I couldn't contain myself. I couldn't spectate most of the time as well. I just really wanted to play.
So, but nowadays you are also streaming yourself. When did you finally decide to take the trigger point and to actually go online to stream yourself, to provide your content out there, to provide your face out there, to provide your skills out there? What made you go live on Twitch, and when did you officially go live?
I think I always wanted around 2017 or so. I wanted to have a decent enough internet to go online. So, but when I tried to qualify for ZrT in 2017, I had a very bad experience with my internet from here. That literally no one could see me on the server, and that was a really bad experience. They couldn't even actually check if I was driving or not. They would see only my car stuck on the start, and then
What?
they would see that my time counted on the end of the round, but no one could see me driving. And then I moved to another city in 2017, and I got a decent internet. So yeah, I was like, this internet is really good. I could stream. So I took the opportunity, started to stream some shitfest, and I don't know. I just I felt at some point that I was good at playing wall maps. And the Zerato Cup was basically a big cup of wall maps, or at least that's how I used to see it. Now it's I literally can qualify it as its own style. But back
Yeah.
then I would see it like that,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of exposure for that. So I just wanted to stream. It's kind of like a dream, being able to live and by playing games, by creating content, and it's getting closer to being possible. It's pretty good.
Yes, that's something that you want to have in the future. That maybe your short time span goal now is to maybe test out how far you can reach in Trackmania, or have you other plans for the future of your next years in real life?
I would say I'll just I studied psychology on the uni. I want to continue it. I will continue it, but I don't work outside of studying for uni, so I want to take Trackmania as streaming and as playing as a work. I
Hmm.
want it to work. I know that as a streamer, I'm not that guy that ends up pushing too much for content. I'm just a guy that likes to play. I just
Yeah.
want to play anything. I'll try to do my best on whatever it's given to me. So I I don't know how it can work, but I really hope it does.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, the Trackmania future seems to be bright, and you are part of it at least at the moment. So hopefully in the future as well. But let's get back to Shitfest and all those type of maps that were. I basically first interact or heard about you was from watching one of the spam stream, and you were one of these players who actually enjoyed the maps. But can you tell us, is there actually good Shitfest maps and bad Shitfest maps? From this is from what I understand as an outside viewer that even once you play Shitfest, people seems to be mad about certain maps that they are not suitable. How can not a map be suitable for a competition where basically the identity is to be shit, right?
Yeah, I would say the best example of something that isn't suited for shitfest is something that, for example, a camera that you can't even see your car, or just something that just switches cameras way too fast, or uses FX effects, and it simply hurts your eyes to see.
Yeah.
It Shitfest back then was just every map that you sent was in. Back when Shoberos was doing it in Evo, and Lord, oh no, I don't remember his name.
Rip.
Ah, fuck, he's
This
gone for
never
too
happened.
long. Yeah, and but ended up that it has a quality control now that it basically goes through taxons improvement. For example, to see if the map is broken or not, and to see if it's shit enough. On his Discord, for example, you can see maps that are sent by people. There are maps, for example, this is unplayable, this is too hard, and this is too good. So this is a reason for it not being accepted. This is too normal.
What the fuck? But
So yeah, but
how would you describe your perfect fest maps then? Is it a certain type of maps that you even enjoy more than others? A certain team? I see some of the maps even has this IQ test, and Span doesn't seem too happy about it. But what do you think about certain teams in the shitfest style?
yeah, I would say the kind of maps that I like the most are just absurd amount of block picks. Not the ones that your car bumped through, but the ones that I don't know, your car just has to drive through and try to find the fastest way. Because I personally like to do air controlling, or air strafing, air counter steering. I don't know how to call it, just to try to make my car always go straight and whatever happens. So I enjoy maps like that, maps that are big mixes and things that most people would like. I don't want to drive through here, and meanwhile, I'm just trying to actually train to find the best path, the fastest path. And IQ test maps, they are different. they are good sometimes. They actually require too much IQ. They there's definitely Shitfest has expanded into something too big. I would say
But
there's subcategories of maps in Shitfest already.
yeah. But would you say who is even the best? Can you even say that there is like a best player at Shitfest this year, or is it just random about what maps is going to be picked up, and then you have some players that are good at other stuff than others, or is it completely random that basically anybody can win at any time?
Well, I always use the excuse to bring someone to Shitfest to say like anyone can win, but yeah, I think if you get like all the 3 seasons and etc., there is not more than 20, 30 winners.
Yeah.
It ends up always being the same people because those people, these people end up being good at playing shit maps.
Hmm.
It's always this year I had a kind of a lower average than the other years. I played worse than I used to do. So I can still say I'm guaranteedly good in it, but people like Yannex, Cabby, I don't know, more people probably. I'm not good with having memories sometimes, but there is always people that are consistently there.
Hmm. But
And now that
go ahead.
Shitfest brought more people in, it has more exposure, and with more people, it's even harder to win. So if those people keep winning always the same time now with more people playing, it just
Yeah.
shows that it is a skill cup.
But for me, as an outsider who doesn't play neither of the Shitfest map nor the Zerator maps, would say that there is some sort of a link between it. Maybe the Shitfest maps is to an extreme, but could you say that maybe the Shitfest map is a place where people should look for potential good players at Zerator Cup? I mean, you were once, for many people, maybe were surprised this year about yourself, but if people knew about you, they know that you are been a good player for a long time. Is this the place where we should look at potentials candidates for the offline slots at the Zerator Cup 2020?
I would say if the person is able to win consistently at Shitfest, this person is not someone that only has capability of just driving good on shit maps,
Yeah.
because in order to win consistently in Shitfest, will always be tech turns, dirt turns, and the maps will always mix a bit of everything. Full speed, you don't see that often, but when you do see, it's normally really good. Uh, uh, if someone is able to do that, I would say it's probably a good contender to someone that is or probably can be good enough on the game to play at that level of
Mm.
Zerator, because it's basically understanding of the game. If someone gets enough knowledge and has enough skill to be able to be at a top level in something as considered random as Shitfest, you know that person has something different. I don't know, has a good skill set to actually perform well into a cup like Zerator.
Hmm. Also, a question that comes to mind when we talk about Shitfest, and we will talk about more Trackmania Grand League later. But would you say that maybe you are one of the players that will actually hope that the identities are quote unquote random, like more shit than most tech players would seem to like? Because you have been used to this. You have probably played basically all the identities at some part or another. Are you a fan of the identities, and maybe do you see the identity as one of your strengths because you are basically used to handling whatever comes to you because you have played whatever comes to you?
I think before I was thinking like that, but to some extent, I think it only gives a starting advantage. For
Yeah,
example, when the TMGL maps were first out in the map that you hit the single raid already, don't remember the name of the first session. Trick. Many other people from the league already had to watch my VOD many times, had to ask and try to understand many times and train a lot to actually be able to do the identity while I just I just thought about something in the first session and it already worked. It's just it can give an advantage, but if people train, it won't be the difference. I think I am performing less good at the identities than I expected, especially because the identities are more unique than last season. Unique is a good word.
Yeah, that's a final word.
But uh, I think it can help for sure.
Mm,
Uh, I don't know if I want them to go further than they are going at this first map pack, but if they do go, I think it's still a good experience to try to learn it.
mm. So, do you then see yourself as once training comes into Trackmania Grand League that maybe the more time that Kappa, Carl Junior, and Pack trains, that maybe the chances are less for you? Are you a player that maybe hopes that once the season goes that they won't have too much time to train? So maybe it's about learning quick. Maybe it's about learning or to find tricks to new. The basic question is: do you think that once training comes into a part that maybe you will have a disadvantage?
I think uh, depending of the people, it for them on the league, it can be a disadvantage to not have that much free time to learn,
Mm.
especially of the system that is gonna be of the maps or change. Like I don't even know if that's announced, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
guess
think
it's
it's
basically
coming April.
expected. Yeah, because the maps will switch all the time, so the the players have to be trained and be ready for the next step.
Mm,
So I think it is not a disadvantage. I do feel like I have an understanding of the game that helps me to learn things faster, but I still do need, for example, to watch other people drive to see different lines. And most of the time, for example, even with ZrT was like that. I would play the maps for many hours. I would feel like I was missing one or two things. I would just watch someone else drive. I would see what they were doing different, and it's just I can reproduce this all the time already. This was what was missing for me.
mm.
So training is won't be a disadvantage to me, and I don't know how much people other people will have, but I'll be, for example, every single step I'll have all the free time in the world. I only have the TMDL to practice for. I don't. I'm on vacation until late February of uni. I don't work, so I'll focus a lot. I'll try not to overtrain. This will be my big problem.
But now that you're joining our new concept for you, it's about Trackmania Grand League. Are you trying to contact maybe some of the players that played in the beta season, maybe Spam, maybe Rolling, who just joined the chat, to maybe have a group of friends that you maybe try to train together, learn tricks from each other, maybe try to see the weakness of someone, try to, okay, you're good at this map, I'm good at this map, let's help each other out and become good at both maps. Do you have any training partners?
Oh well, in theory, up to this moment, no.
Oh,
But
rip.
I would say I can at any time if spam is playing at the server and everyone else always ends up using
Mm,
spam server to train to practice laps or other things. Just that everyone just gathers there and plays. We I think for training it doesn't go that much into trying to have disadvantages or advantages over the others. Sometimes I think that is worth. For example, Kappa always training offline,
yeah.
and right before the cup or right after you play the steps or anything, he just releases the record with different strats or sick times just to do not only to people are like I don't know if he's good or not on that, and yeah, he just shows I'm really good. I just did VR by a lot. So it's different points of view, but I think I'll just play. I
Mm.
might end up doing. I know that, for example, Spam and Riolo, Spam and Roland are always playing together, so that's expected. But I think the more people we end up playing together, it's gonna benefit everyone to just try to push their own limits. Everyone just playing against each other.
You mentioned Kappa and that he is the training offline and maybe keeping what type of skills he has as a secret. Would you say that that makes you, I don't know, nervous, or does it play into your mind that you have some sort uncertainty there instead of maybe playing on servers where you can actually somewhat feel how good a player is. Are you one of the guys that maybe go into the mental game of Trackmania, maybe try to think too much or think too little about maybe a certain unknown player that how good is he really?
How I think I can definitely get to end up thinking too much about things like that sometimes, but I try not to worry too much. I try
Yeah.
to just focus. For example, if I'm in the middle of a step and I see someone doing something different, I'll just like, cool. But I'll keep doing what I've trained for. I won't go desperate and try to. I might end up go desperate and try to do whatever he's doing without training if it's someone something that it gains a lot. But I really hope I don't. But I tend to take those decisions in the heat of the moment of doing stupid stuff. So uh, it
So
can be an advantage.
yeah, but let's get back to how you actually ended up in the situation where you are now. That you are recruited for one of the 16 selected players. It's because of your success at the ZrT Cup. But can you tell us, was 2017 the first year you tried ZrT Cup, and what is the history you have at ZrT Cups competition there?
I think I I was in 2017. I was definitely driving good. I both 2017 and 18. I didn't train uh, nearly half as much of what I trained in 19. I tried to qualify basically by training a little bit. In some of the maps, I was really good, but no one ever ended up hearing about me because I choked in the quarterfinals
Hmm.
or before the quarterfinals. Yeah, before the quarterfinals in 17, and uh, losing to a player that was straight up destroyed in the quarterfinals. But and in 2018, I became a meme because I couldn't do that Neo correctly and gave the spot to Revo. But I think I I didn't even focus that much on playing ZrT. Like I focused, but it wasn't really that much me wanting. It was most of the time it was Dank that was from the Krusty Krib that just said, "You should play this. Win this, no problem. You're too good at this kind of maps." And I'm like, "Well, I'll try." And then I learned to like it. I always knew that it happened, and the maps were kind of weird, but I really I don't know. I tried to prove a point to myself. I don't know. I just sabotaged myself by actually not training decently and not training enough in 2018, even learning some different lines or discovering that the map was updated midway through the quarterfinal. I played it on the first day, first version, played it on the server with ZrT casting. It's like, this is different. What do I do? So yeah, maybe it didn't help me that much. I remember in 2018, in the same day of the quarterfinals, I was trying to play every single map, and Spam was with me on the survey. Is like, how don't you know this? How don't you know the correct line on this part? It's like, I don't know. I didn't train. Spam just literally taught me everything he could on all the maps in the last moment.
The solid
So yeah,
strategy there. But would you say that in 2019 that you went more serious into it? That maybe now I want to actually do something good, and maybe having a teammate that you could potentially let down helped you.
I think both are true. Uh, Well, I asked Rev as a duo partner, and as I already told you in the interview in Zerator, he
Yeah.
just answered, if you know life as hard as I do, let's go, let's be a duo. So I really went serious on it. I went serious thinking about Zerator already before it started by going to another city, making a passport, having it all ready in case it was needed, in case I actually qualified. Because in 2017 and 18, if I qualified, I would be completely fucked. I had no I have no clue how I would get that passport done fast enough. I'd probably not be able to go. But then that year already set it up, already had a different mentality, had a very good focus. Ended up not being able to train as much as I could after I qualified for it. Was still the exams week in the uni, but it still went really fine.
Hmm. Would you say that you had more motivation then because now you had the potential to actually go from another continent to Europe just by playing a game that now you can experience other things than just a potential tournament? You had now the chance to visit another culture, another continent.
I had a lot of motivation, I guess, because I wanted obviously to see Europe, to meet people that I only talked via Discord. To I didn't have that much of a motivation for like that. I wanted to be there to. I wanted to just prove a point to myself. Getting there was already good enough. And after I got on the semifinals and then on the finals, it was just I wanted to win, but I kind of threw too much. uh, but I had a lot of willingness put into it. I don't know if that's right, because I really wanted to get out of Brazil once. It was a perfect opportunity. It was the trip paid and everything. I just put all my focus into it. Uh, when I we got me and Revo got through the quarterfinals, I was so happy. I almost passed out because of how much shouting I did. It was I was definitely happy at that.
But would you say that now that you look back at ZrT Cup and now maybe if you take out the tournament part of it for a moment, that maybe traveling is something that you want to do more of, maybe going on a plane, maybe going to visit other culture. Was this something that you actually liked, or would you say that home is better than away?
I definitely liked it way more than being here. I have to be honest. I really like to travel a bit through Europe, to know other people, to know cultures, to eat French fries from other places. That's literally the best part. I really like French fries, and
Looking back at it, that's your top point. Like, I want
yeah,
to eat more French fries.
yeah, Brussels fries. Oh my god, I dream of. It's even probably the Brussels fries gave me kidney stones. Yes, totally worth it. uh, I I would say I really wanted to travel again, if I had the opportunity,
Yeah,
because money is a hard thing.
yeah.
So if Trackmania scene actually grows more and we have more lands in other places of the world as well, that's a possibility. That's also something that would be really cool
Mm.
if it happened,
Uh,
and I would be
yeah.
able to go there.
Mm. A question from Licklander in the chat. And by the way, if people are watching this, you can also answer or ask your question in chat, and Matt will ask for the best of his ability. But how did it feel to be in Europe for the first time when you actually landed? Was it like a moment of realization? Was it just go on with whatever it comes on? Or how would you say that your mentality was once you landed in Europe and was actually touched down here?
Hmm. I would say on that moment, when I first landed, I was nervous, but it wasn't maybe because it was just because I had to take a what was the name? Train? I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind
sure.
of a train, but I don't remember
Kind
the
of a
name.
train.
From Paris to Strasbourg. So that meant I had to go in the Paris airport by myself and try to find where to go. So I was like, I don't know French. I don't know anything. I am lost. So I was desperate, talking with the ZrT staff guys, with Loic
Yeah.
on Discord, and everything went fine. So after that all was set up, I was taking the train back to Strasbourg. It was back to not to Strasbourg. It was I was feeling really calm. I was just enjoying everything. I was just watching through the window and thinking, it's like, this is cool. Just I tried to keep myself as calm as I could and try to take the most I could out of the moment. It was a great experience. I really liked it.
Hmm. So we heard about you traveling to Paris now or traveling to Strasbourg, but once I left you in Strasbourg, you went on an adventure, traveled to other cities. Can you take us through that? Once what happened after you left the live chat in Strasbourg? Once you were in my hot bedroom with 7 other guys and one girl, what happened
and
after you left that
and one
bedroom?
fan, one
Yeah,
fan.
one fan, yeah, the MYP.
So after that, I think I firstly visited Paris for real with Nani. Most of the time I stayed on Nani's place in Nani City. That I
Mm.
forgot the name. Vinay. Yeah. So I stayed there. I would stay there by the night, and then on the day we would go to Paris, and then we would come back to his place again. So we wouldn't stay the night in Paris because I had very little time to stay in Europe. So I tried to go to the most places I could.
Yeah.
Most of it just Noni was basically doing everything by me. He even he was the one that took me to the hospital with my kidney stones started to kick in. So it was. I went to Paris. I went to Brussels. Yeah, those French fries for sure. And in Brussels, I stayed one night, and on the next night, I went to Amsterdam by myself because Nani had to go back to apply a test in his city. So I was alone one day or one afternoon in Amsterdam. It, it was kind of weird. And then on the other day, well, I arrived, and then I went to Spam's place on that same day too. I spent the whole day with them there that day, and on the other day I went to Spam's place to play TTC.
Oh, you played TTC in Europe. How was that?
Uh, Spam thought I would break his keyboard because of how hard I pressed stuff, and I was scared as well. I was going to break it. So we went out, I think, on 30th, and it was my fault.
Oh, rip.
Because it was kind of one of my first experience with a mechanical keyboard, so it was different. But
Hmm.
it was really cool to play at Spam's place. It's, it was one round me and one round him playing, so it was different. I don't even know if that's allowed when we did that.
Banned. Banned.
Banned. Spam bans himself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Before it just bans you. But I saw on Twitter about these problems you had. You had a kidney stone. You had to go to the hospital. If I was, let's say, if this story was reversed and I was in South America and had to go to the hospital, I would be scared as hell. Was you scared about visiting a hospital outside of your home country where basically everything is unknown, everything is new to you?
It was really scary to some point because when the pain started, I was just trying to convince myself it was posture problems. I was really trying to convince myself it was posture problems. The context for that is even better. I was at Noni's place, sitting weirdly at his chair and watching the VOD in his monitor. And then I just looked at myself and said, "Oh my god, my posture is so bad." Then it started to hurt, and I said, "See, my posture is really bad. It's hurting now a lot." It was like fast forward 30 minutes. I was laying on the ground in fetal position, crying in pain. So it's like my posture is really bad. And then he's like, this might be something serious. Let's go to the hospital. I'm like, posture problems. So around, I don't know, 1 hour later, the pain just didn't stop. So we went to the hospital. No one in the whole hospital spoke a single word of English.
Oh, rip.
So Noni was basically translating everything, and as well, I had the flight on the next day and to back to Brazil, so I couldn't like remove the kidney stones there. So the doctor just gave me some medication, told me it was kidney stones in a paper in French, and I had basically to deal with it to try to stay calm. Everything went a little bit worse after that. Definitely went worse because I should take the train on Strasbourg to Paris on the
Yeah.
next day. I asked the ZrT guys and said, if I go to Paris, is that fine? And then they said yes. And in theory, it should be fine. But when we got to Paris, they just told me, you have to buy your ticket back again because you didn't take your train for 100 euros.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's still some money I owe to the nanny. And I owe to him, and I want to pay him back, and he's like, nah, I want to give it back to him because he saved my ass there. I wouldn't be able to come back to Brazil, which would be really weird. I don't know how that would work. I
Yeah.
couldn't go back to my own country because I don't know, Air France.
So,
That's as well some of the reasons why I wasn't caring too much because of Air France Cup.
yeah.
Because yeah, I had a bad experience with Air France.
So, so you basically got fucked over because you didn't take stage one of the travel, so they thought that you didn't travel at all, and then you probably left the seat of someone else, or why did you actually
Yeah,
have to buy a new ticket?
it was basically like that. And according to this Raider guys, Carl did the same. He went straight to Paris, and there was no problem for Carl. So it was just me who got screwed. So that's why they thought that there would be no problem, and I thought it as well. So
Hmm.
we couldn't take a serious reason why that. It sounds like a problem, yes, but it was done according to the Raider guys.
Yeah.
Carl did that, and there was no problem. So I just got screwed because they said I had to buy it back, like it was bought by someone else, and the plane was like half empty.
What the fuck? I guess lesson learned. There are special rules for Carl Jr. in French. He has his way about the rule system.
Yeah.
Did he actually play the test step as well, or did he skip that?
He didn't play.
Yeah,
Neither him
mandatory.
and yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah,
Massa wasn't that happy. Like we are all obligated to play, and some people
yeah,
didn't play. But I guess it would be cooler if they played, but
yeah.
ended up that some people didn't play. Brand
Hmm.
didn't wake up at time. He's the one that is definitely in the worst position, having to wake at 4:30
Oh,
a.m. to
fucking
play.
hell. Fucking hell. But let's
If
go back
I
to.
thought my time zones were a problem, at least I'm not Brand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what a guy playing on Australia. That's going to be a hard season for him. But let's go back to Serato Cup itself. Now that you look back at the result playing in a grand final, are you happy with what you achieved in Strasbourg? Or are you now looking back at it? Okay, I was in the grand final. Maybe I even had a chance of winning it. So there's like a bittersweet taste to the overall competition itself.
Mm, I think me and Ravo could have won it. Uh, we definitely underperformed on the first maps of the finals. Uh, I tried to catch back up, but and I think if for example, it wasn't in the map that Brand and Carl, if it was another map, I think the story could have turned differently.
Hmm.
But it ended up fair. I think the way it ended, it didn't feel like that bad. It's like we could have won, but we needed to have had played better. We could have played better, but we needed to play better. But I would say for me, it wasn't a bittersweet sensation. It I was proud of being able to get there. It I thought I could do better. I could do better. So it's still I don't know. I'm contradicting myself. But in in summary, it was fine.
Yeah. But you said that you basically played Serator to prove a point to yourself. Would you say that maybe you hope that the next edition is a solo edition, so maybe you can prove to yourself and maybe prove to the world that okay, I can actually be in a grand final and maybe win it by myself with no duo partner as well.
I don't know. The duo stuff was definitely different. it's both an advantage and a disadvantage to be able to, both have to win, but as well you can mentally support each other, etc. But if it ended up being either duo or solo, I think it would be fine. The thing that I mostly out in the sense of proving to myself is like I always have the pessimistic view of myself. It's like I don't know.
Hmm.
Back a few years ago, Soko would be the one that would be making named That Sucks. My only reaction to that is like I agree.
Oh yeah.
so so proving a point to myself is like I don't know. It's kind of putting an extra challenge to myself, or not, or just a goal to going there, and I don't know. It as well puts more pressure on me, but it helps that in the end I felt achieved with whatever I left with.
Hmm. There's a question in chat from Nick Lander, who has been active in chat. And by the way, if more people have questions, fire them up and I will try to answer them or ask them and then Matt will answer them. If there was another duo edition, name your top three dream partners that you would love to duo with. Let's make it out there. If there is a duo edition for
Ah,
2020, who is going to be the top three on your list?
damn, that's a hard question. What would my dream top three duo partners be?
Carl Jr., Brandon
Wow.
Pack.
So I'm kind of thinking far into that.
Okay.
Uh, but with the play style of people that I would want as my duo, be probably people that play in the same way as I do, like
Hmm.
risking unnecessarily. So not that is that it will be a shot at those players now that I cite them. But fuck, that didn't start really that well. But I don't know. Maybe I would really like to partner with Scrappy. I would really like to partner. I don't know. I'm not really sure if I want to go with skill or a good experience. I don't think I'll end up putting Revel on this top three, but he would definitely be still there because he was a great duo to have. He's a great guy to be in a call with and to play with. But I think Spam already proved he could be good at it and etc. So being duo with Spam as well would be, I guess, a cool experience. And for the third spot, for ZrT duo, I don't know. I guess Plasto,
Plasto?
either Plasto or Lulu.
Mm.
Plasto or Lulu. Both, I don't know, because of their play styles as well. Plasto definitely was a guy that had potential to, if he and Rise, if they went to Strasbourg, they could have done gone to the semifinals. They maybe won it because of how well they were performing in training.
Hmm.
So I guess those three is good.
Yeah. But if you talk about Serato Cup and that's a lot of hype already for that edition, would you say that that is a bigger goal than the upcoming Trackmania Grand League season, or how would you compare the Trackmania Grand League towards the upcoming Serato Cup edition? What would you say is the most prestigious? What would you want to win the most if you could pick?
I think that exposure excited. Oh, that's not the right word. Exposure related. It's it's better to win the Raider Cup, but because of the amount of viewership it brings, the whole stage with 16,000 people and etc. But I would say that this year I'll care more about trying to prove myself on TMGL, just because it's a challenge and I want to do as well as I can. I want to be able to keep myself there. And Zerator is obviously, it's not that I'm not going to care for Zerator. even that this year the ZrT timing for me is gonna be
Oh
because
yeah.
of the different date. It's way earlier, so it's in the middle of the exam week. So
Oh.
I shouldn't be able to leave, but except that those are exceptions I'm willing to take. It's like, but I want to focus. I feel like for me, it's more important right now to prove myself on Trackmania GL.
Hmm. Yeah. And talking about Trackmania Grand League, we already mentioned it a little bit about the test step. Our question is from Francois in the chat. He says you played against Javi in the public step of Trackmania Grand League. Are you scared about the potential return of this player in the competitive scene? About Javi Flyer coming back to Trackmania?
So playing against Javi, it was weird at the start. It's like I didn't play as well as I could on the checkpoints system on the start, and then when I joined the server and see Javi, I'm like, I ended up being led by the guys on that saying this is not a real. So, and I'm like, is this the real Javi or not?
Yeah.
So, but it was really easy to discover. In one of the maps, I was like, I did a really good start, and it's like, this guy's keeping up with me. This is actually Javi.
Of course.
This is actually Javi, and it was really cool. If he comes back to the game, I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's he I don't know how much he trained. He probably trained a little bit to be in the gold league, but I can say that would be disrespecting myself a lot because I got in the gold league with training a bit more. But uh, it was different to see there. He, I don't know if he liked it that much. He was complaining about the identities. He didn't really like it, but if he comes back to the game, I think it's really cool. I felt nervous for sure. It's like, damn, I'm playing against Javi, and then I underperformed on like 4 out of the 6 maps and ended up being second anyway. At least I didn't lose my points like Daska.
Oh yeah, rip. But I guess lesson learned here: if I post some news about some player coming back on Twitter, they are true instead of 10 people saying these are fake news. You're being trolled. Hey, guess what? I
Yeah.
was correct all the way. But how would how would you sum up your first experience with the Trackmania Grand League system, where you played some maps, you lost some points, or had the potential of losing some points? How would you say that the first impression to yourself and the skills you have in the game was that this is actually something I want to compete in for the next 2 months?
I would say for this map pack, or the order of this map pack, it's definitely something that can be scary. The identities of the last 3 maps are the maps where points can be lost. Are very
Yeah.
scary. I failed them at least 2 times, 1 or 2 maps of the last 3 during the pre-step. I I didn't have driven 6 laps until the pre-step happened. I never had that focus. I didn't even knew what times were good or not. Just know that after I played it now, I can start focusing on 6 laps and train more. And I think they're good. Uh, I'll definitely. I'm really looking forward though. Different maps for the other ones. I think this the maps from this step still is not the ones that I can see as the best for me. I
Hmm.
want to see more. I have hope on on the softies map picks.
A question from Dreamkin in the chat. Another, he was a basic. I think it was one of the fans from you in Strasbourg with a Brazilian shirt and such.
Yeah.
He asked you, "Do you feel ready for Trackmania Grand League? And where would you put yourself among the top 16 now? Do you even have an idea about where you see yourself skill wise compared to the OGs of the game, the best of the best in the game?"
Hmm. Not sure. I think there is the because of the way the point system of TMDL is, it's either 8 or 80. You're either going to get a lot of points off a
Yeah.
step or not gonna get much. And I think if the maps follow the example of the map pack from now, it's gonna okay, I'll keep going. It's gonna it's gonna continue having a big gap in between the first players and the bottom players. Hi again.
Yeah, hi again. Just continue.
So the I think I can put myself at least at the or not at least where I can possibly be at the top three, maybe top five, top six when the league ends if
Mm,
everything goes well. I think for the playoff system, I can play way better than if I play laps for consistency because I simply prefer to play for less time and be able to risk more or to only have to do an identity correctly once.
yeah.
So, and if I'm ready for TMGL, I think I'm missing just a little bit. I'm missing the training part. I want to train more. I want to focus more. I don't know, it's a different mentality than the one I have right now, but I'm not that far from it. So,
Mm.
yeah.
So, how much of the beta season did you follow where basically you have at least half of the playing field in the Trackmania Grand League Winter now? And if so, who would you say is the favorite for the Winter 2020 edition?
Uh, I would say I didn't follow much. I basically saw one or other match. Most of the time I missed it because it was right when so I woke up and it's like match is happening now. It's like missed it. I watched most of the last steps and to see how lost I was, I didn't even remember that on the last map was when Kappa got in, and then afterwards he ends up winning.
Yeah.
But up to that point, I thought like Kappa, he has to be like there. He was always there. I didn't even notice that the points provided such a difference. So I don't know. There's you're obviously thinking about the best players here. I cannot talk about cannot not. Oh fuck, that's double negation from Portuguese. Yeah, we tend to use double negation too much. Yeah, cannot not. I don't know even how to phrase that without double
Sure.
negation. Talk about Carl. See, I think he'll still be able to gather enough points. I don't know if he'll be first. The probabilities tend to him
Yeah.
because of I don't know consistent results and etc. But for the point system, for the actual playoffs, I guess the 16 players league is actually too stacked. It can be anyone's game on the end.
Hmm. But a question earlier from in chat from Casper, I believe, was how did you actually got contacted by Spacestation, which is one of the biggest orgs that actually join this Trackmania Grand League, and were you surprised that you could go straight from not playing Trackmania Grand League to joining one of the biggest orgs that is going to participate in Trackmania Grand League?
So all I had talked with Alinoa on the. It's like after I went to Zerator, I talked with her. I don't remember December, January, that she wanted to know about Brazilian Trackmania teams. She wanted to know what was left from what the Brazilian Trackmania community had from back in 2006, 2010 with 7-Eleven, with Vinny playing for Acer, and back when Brazil was active in the Trackmania scene. So I ended up gathering all this information, etc. And I didn't think much of that after. I knew that Softy, from watching me in the Zerator finals, I think he saw potential in me. So it was basically one day I just heard like Softy told me that someone was gonna talk with me via Twitter. Try to be nice. I just answered with, "Oh no, I'm gonna fuck it up." but it all went fine. Uh, basically, Space Station had many opportunities, could take other players. According to Softy, every single organization had the opportunity to do a qualifier for the spots and etc. But Space Station was just like, we like this guy. Then
Oh, damn.
I so I talked with my manager a few times. We had like 2 hour Discord calls, 2 or 3 or 4, I don't remember.
Well, hello.
And then it ended up that it was set that it would be me playing for them. I definitely couldn't believe it on the start, but I, I'm too excited for this.
But did you know much about Space Station before? I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know too much about it. But do you have some history, or did you follow some other games that they support? Or
No, to be fair, I wasn't following any single other competitive scene. I stopped. Used to watch CS, and
yeah.
stopped watching CS as well after MIBR stuff happened. So after Space Station contacted me, I went to check, and they were really well known in Rainbow Six and Rocket League, and some other people from Brazil that I talked that do play Trackmania from Brazil. They say as well that the Paladins team from Space Station, there is a Brazilian squad
Oh, really?
that went to live in USA before Space Station. They're as well among the best. So Space Station definitely is very well known. It's,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe the second biggest or org in the cup. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't know
think
how
it
to
is.
make. So it I hadn't heard about it, but I don't know. Watching their videos on Twitter and watching the stuff, the content that they make, and the results that they pull, I learned to love them really fast. Their content on Twitter, even the video that they made for me, it's like
Yeah.
this fits me. This fits me. I like this.
That was proper video, proper introduction. By the way, they are the third biggest on Twitter. Noravin is number one, then Solarin, then Space Station, just by the Twitter followers. I don't know about other stuff than Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is my home.
We base our stuff with Twitter.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Everything is about followers in Twitter, right? But once I spoke to you in Strasbourg, you said that you played for what was the team back then? It was Elementaries, right?
Elementaries.
Mm. And you got a T-shirt. That was basically it. What do you get from Space Station? Do you actually get something more than a T-shirt and some merch now? Can you say that you have a salary, that you have support for questions in chat about
Yeah.
offline events and such?
Uh, I have to go back a bit and still and talk about Elementaries.
Sure.
This computer that I'm pointing right here that you can see on the webcam,
Okay.
they gave me basically most of the setup for this computer as a thank you gift for what I did to them on ZrT Cup. So yeah,
Really?
but it ended up that we had to part ways. It wasn't the best timeline for them probably because of that happening, but I don't know. I wish them all the luck, and they still have Plasto. So, and then for Space Station, I still haven't officially signed the contract, but they already sent me the shirts. According to the manager, they already bought me a monitor, so the via Amazon on Brazil, so it should arrive. I don't know when. So and when it's gonna have a salary, I'm gonna have a support from them. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something.
Did you ever think that this was a possibility that you could actually have a salary to actually earn some money from playing Trackmania? And now at a high stake, I mean, you're joining the biggest cash prize in Trackmania, and you now also are one of the biggest orgs. Did you ever think that this was a potential for yourself?
I think if I came back a few months ago, before the context of what orgs were in Trackmania, I was definitely thinking this wasn't that much of a possibility because we only had few orgs and there was not too much interest in that. But what Softy ended up doing by bringing many names and esports interest, and as well a lot of interest from the team's partners, like the team being able to, for example, Nardavin being able to come with DNB, a lot of sponsorship
Yeah.
potential for the teams as well in Trackmania. It's definitely something that created that possibility. I
Hmm.
would say I didn't think that was a possibility, because I don't know who I thought that was probably being paid. Was Cap and Tween and Carl and Brent, probably, and that was it. I don't know if the others even received something. Spam, I would never know. Stream money, probably he was. So, but now it's a complete different scene.
Yeah.
Everyone is taking a more professional stance, a more esports way of actually seeing it. So I would say if I wasn't in this position, but I still would be playing like I'm now. I think it could be a possibility, for example, for the next semester for me to get a like this.
Hmm. But would you say that you feel now more pressure because you are joining one of the biggest orgs in the scene, and that you are basically they just have one player, so you are going to be the face of that org in Trackmania. They're going to put the full support to you. Do you feel more pressure that you don't have anyone to hide behind, and you are representing a big org in a Trackmania game where they are new to this, that you have to give them a first impression that is good?
I don't know. That kind of doesn't. That makes me feel excited. It's like
Yeah.
it 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 gives me a bigger point, a bigger reason to to actually play more the game. I really want to like explain everything of the game for them if they want. I I really want them to learn to like the game as much as I do, and it's as well talking with them. It's so incredible. Many of the guys already talking that right after I was signed, and the next day, everyone in the office was already playing Trackmania. So, so
Try to get your
it's
spot.
so uh, it gives me motivation. I end up representing everything from them, but I don't know if they're fine with that. I'll do my best to try to do that.
Hmm. We have this new thing for the winter season that was not in the beta season, that now every org are responsible for their own stream, where basically they are in charge of following their player, and it's up to the org if they want to follow the race as well. But can you tell us, what do we know about Space Station's coverage of Trackmania Grand League? Is it settled? Is it unsure at the moment? What can you tell us? How do we follow Matt in Trackmania Grand League?
I think this will be this will this will be probably enough for coming days. Is this word right? It looks cool though. Probably is right. So I think everything is settled already. From what I've heard about, there are two Rocket League streamers that are probably going to be the casters for Trackmania. Uh, it was a weird topic that I got into talking with Unit, that he said they probably know they. I was like, maybe, maybe not. That's a possibility, but uh, as well, coming from a racing game, I guess they can get the feel for it to be able,
Yeah.
because I think Space Station is the stance of having a super professional cast. They want to have casters that are known, that bring their own public, that uh, brings different people to know the game, to actually follow Space Station in a different manner, and to have a cast that, I don't know, makes people that are watching have fun.
Hmm.
So that's their propose. I don't know if they are gonna go with those two Rocket League streamers. If they go, it's a cool idea, but it's, at least it wasn't told to me that it's officially set.
Yeah, okay. So, if you want, or if you could have a Trackmania expert in there, or a Trackmania streamer to cast along with them, so if they didn't know some stuff that maybe he or she could complement with, who would be your dream caster for casting Matt? for the Winter Edition 2020?
It's like when it first came out, before I knew about stuff or before I knew about when things were releasing, I was thinking maybe the caster I could have because of already having proximity with him would be virtual. But then Nord event happened. I didn't even knew about it, so it was like cool. Streamer and personality.
Yeah, hello.
But then I don't know if, for example, as I could use you for example of a caster that could probably be a good one, but yeah, I can't talk about it.
Norwegian guys. Yeah, you can talk about anything here on the podcast.
But I don't know. Radiance was a good cast. I remember who was the one that used to cast TMPL with Riolu?
R2K or
R2K.
yeah,
Yeah, I really used to like his casts back when he was casting still. But I don't know. I think in the sense of Trackmania experts, most of the people that I used to like casting and etc. kinda don't cast anymore.
yeah.
Simple. Watching Coons cast was definitely something really cool. Let's not talk about Frostbeal.
Oh, miss
But
him.
yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But is there anyone you know that maybe you play on TeamSpeak with that you see a potential talent with? So maybe people or someone who isn't casting at the moment, someone who isn't getting the exposure that maybe you want to see personally getting out there, maybe using this chance when it's basically going to be 16 streams for Jackmania. So if you want a casting opportunity, now is the time to test your skills, right?
I think I could see potential for that because I'm always on Krusty Krib, the Discord channel. I think it Toxin has probably the ability to that. He already streams. He's probably capable of doing it. He has enough knowledge. He can keep the stream fun as well by probably by talking about how my mistakes are bad and shouldn't be there. But he would be able to find a way to make the stream interesting.
Yeah.
But as well, Cabby has potential for being that. It's people that Cabby is a different thing, but because when he streams, basically no one watches. But yeah, his stream is probably the cleanest stream that I have ever seen. It's probably the one that when I'm watching his stream, it looks prettier than actually playing the game on my own computer.
Oh, really?
So it's a solo I think Yuvu could do well, but he's not streaming. He wasn't streaming Trackmania that much because when you stream Trackmania and you go to other games or other content, people simply don't follow, and that's uh, something that has been proven to be consistent with Trackmania streamers. So I think there is potential for a lot of people in Trackmania. We have a potential for casters if that ends up being a market in the future.
Yeah. Is that something that you could see yourself doing in the future? Maybe casting events, maybe, like you said, you want to teach Space Station what you know about the game, but do you maybe have a casting, what to say, spire in you that maybe you want to teach Trackmania to the world as well?
I would say if I had the opportunity to cast cups, because most of the time when the cups are going, I'm like, I just send a message like, "Can I cast?" And it's like, "Nah, people already asked before you.
Oh,
We
really?
already have the spot." So I end up normally not seeing things fast enough. I would love to cast. I don't know if I have the skill for it. I definitely would maybe cast too fast and talk too much stuff at the same time and get lost in my own words and just stop talking for a little bit and try to restart. But
Yeah.
I would really like to cast. If that ended up being a future, for example, for a cup that I didn't have interest in qualifying and I can just cast it, I would go for it. I think I've heard about. I don't know. Maybe we will be able to stream open league matches. So
Yeah.
I would like to try to cast that.
That would
It's
be cool to have
something
the
cool.
expert, like the actual players casting the Open League as well, trying to provide some knowledge there.
Yeah, seeing people that are being able to do stuff, I don't know, as fast as the closed league players are doing,
Yeah.
we simply will be able to see like this person has potential.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, good for everybody. It's for exposure, for it's good content for the viewers. It definitely is a good thing if it ends up happening.
Or you can cast me in the bronze league, right?
It's everything. It's an experience. Definitely be fun to see.
Yeah, but
Maybe not for you.
I don't know. I don't know. As long as the viewers are happy, I'm happy, right? But would you say that, let's say that there's a potential that maybe Trackmania Grand League doesn't go as well as you hope, that maybe you face some diversity. Would you say that you are a kind of guy that likes that and doesn't get thrown down by it? So maybe you can reset your mind even for a potential summer edition 2020.
I think from what I've talked with uh, already with the org, I would still keep my
Spot
motivation for
contract?
it.
Yeah, okay, okay.
No, no, mostly
Yeah,
my motivation,
okay.
because Spot and etc. Soft already let it very clear that if the player doesn't perform enough, Nadia is gonna be like, you
Yep.
can't play next season. So
Yeah.
so if it doesn't ends up not going well enough, but I'm still able to participate again, and the org still wants to keep with me. I
Yeah.
think it. I'll just take it as another opportunity. I wouldn't be let down with that. If I already, for example, for ZrT already performed horribly 2 years in a row, and then worked once, so I
Yep.
took my spot. I didn't let the other years bring me down, and playing in as well in front of the crowd, not crown, it it most people were like, "How did you feel playing in front of so many people?" It's like I didn't feel. I just played. I just I just got a serious face in my face and
Yeah.
just played. I could hear the crowd, etc. Didn't even look, didn't even acknowledge most of the time I was there. I just looked to the side of my monitor sometimes to watch the guys where that were the Brazilian fans. That
Yeah.
the narrator also told that they were Brazilian, but they weren't. But that's that's the most it affected me. I try not to be affected by pressure, and I guess it works with me.
Hmm. But if you go back to the ZrT Cup next year and you ask you the crowd does feel any different, you cannot say that it doesn't, because then it's gonna happen with what happened with Revo this year. People are gonna boo you.
It definitely he went too serious on the answer.
Yeah.
But
Does it feel
yeah,
different this year? No.
it's like there's maybe three people more there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess it's just that I'm the kind of person, and maybe Revos as well, that is just there to play. And
Yeah.
if there's one person watching or many people watching, you are gonna kind of feel the same.
Hmm.
But I guess we had that kind of view into that because we weren't like really supported by the fans. We didn't have really people there that when they heard our name they would go crazy like they do with Carl and etc.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's a different feeling to have a crowd stay go crazy just by hearing your name or seeing you.
Yeah.
So it can be different.
Yeah. Yeah, the pressure Carl Jr. and Bren has, knowing that most of the fans just go there maybe to just watch them and hope that they win. They take it just as a, not as a, let's say, a bonus. They take it as something they expect. It's not an option that Carl Jr. doesn't win Serato Cup anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a motivation as well. I guess it ends up being a way bigger pressure.
Yeah,
It's not a pressure of having a public watching you, it's having a public expecting you.
yeah. That's good though about you now. You're up and coming in Trackmania Grand League. You're a wild card. Like Kappa says, he likes to be the wild card. And you know what happened with him the last 2 years. So that's a good spot to be in.
So it's I don't know. It definitely feels cool to, for example, if I am the wild card, I guess I am the wild card as well.
Yeah, there are many wild cards this season.
Yeah, so it's a spot that I can I don't know, I can discover how I perform in this kind of maps against this kind of players.
Yeah.
So I can explore new ways of driving. For example, I can just go full Marius if I want to, or I can just go full Risk. It's definitely something interesting. It's as I have never played in this environment. I
Yeah.
only tried to play it on the qualifier for the beta season, but nah, I didn't do well with 10 laps. I'm really glad they brought it down to 6 laps. I would like it to be still less because my wrist is definitely not as healthy as it should be for a 20 years old person because of playing on the keyboard. I don't know how Kappa and Tween do it. They really do press stuff differently on their keyboard. I can't even understand how they.
Ah, yeah.
I don't. But the way I do stuff, it's I don't know, maybe close the carpal tunnel. So I'm just changing everything here to focus on it and try not to hurt my wrist.
Hmm. Yeah, we have spoke for a long time now and not even brought up that you play with a keyboard. Would you say that some people bring up that pad is the superior thing? Some people say that it's equal. How would you compare pad to keyboard like you play?
I'm the guy that most of the time is spamming keyboard master race. So yeah, for playing trial and RPG, I think when I started, I kind of focused on that. It's an advantage to have a keyboard for sure.
Why?
You because you switch sides very fast. You have to manage your car. You have to jump and instantly, always most of the time, instantly counter steer, and doing that with the thumb to pull the stick to the one other side, you lose feel a few, I don't know, microseconds. I don't know, just maybe you don't even lose that. I just know that for most people that do play RPG with a pad, they as well say it's easier to just switch sides all the time and play for that long in a map with a keyboard.
Hmm.
And I think both can be good. The Kappa and Tween are probably the biggest example in tech cups that you can see that you do have a little bit of a different playstyle. You can do a drift, for example, like in a pad, you do a drift that they don't fully steer, they steer a little bit,
Yeah.
and the keyboard player has to compensate that by micro tapping, by multi drifting, by thinking a slightly different line, but on the end, it ends up being the same. Maybe a little bit more riskier, for example, in TMPL maps for keyboard players. At least that's the stand that I had that I could see on it. But I think that pad is superior, for example, in grass, in low speed and dirt. For example, being able to do what Riolo really likes to do, no drifting a dirt curve. You can't do that in the keyboard. It's literally impossible. It doesn't matter how hard you tap. If you fully steer, your car is gonna drift, and if you half steer on the pad, it's not going to drift. So each on has its own pros and cons, and for me, keyboard is superior. But
Hmm.
I know many people that go against it, and I respect their opinion. It's different ways to play the game.
Yeah. A question in chat from Nick Lander again. I think we should rename him to co-host at the moment. He is asking a lot of questions, saying how is the new mechanical keyboard working out, and how is it different from your old one?
Uh, right now, I would describe this experience. I would want to describe this experience as good, but I will describe it as hell.
Whoa, how?
uh,
Why?
the old membrane keyboard I had, it had, I don't know, the activation point was very different. I never had a mechanical keyboard, so when I pressed the key, it it took a little while until I actually captured in the game, and I didn't knew it took that long. For me, it was like standard. I didn't knew it could be faster, so I already had this built muscle memory for when
Yeah.
I have to turn, when I don't have to turn. And now playing with this, I press and it counts instantly. And so most of the time that I'm playing with it, I'm crashing on the inside in curves because I'm pressing
Oh.
like I'm pressing on the old keyboard, so I end up turning earlier than I should. I'm drifting a bit earlier. It's like little bit, but if I'm used to going like as close to the wall as I can, that little bit is what is enough to me to crash.
Hmm.
Uh, And when I was trying playing TMGL, I was playing with the old keyboard. I switched to the mechanical one. Didn't improve a single PB for 3 days. Switched back to the other keyboard to play the pre-step. In 2 days, I improved PB on every single map. And now I'm back to it again. Didn't improve a single PB yet.
But
But I
how
want
does
to learn to play with this.
yeah, how does this change your thought process going into the first step that is obviously going to be an important one because it's just 6 steps that would you have a hard time picking what you're gonna choose, like long-term gain and maybe short-term game?
I will. I really want to go with this mechanical keyboard, especially because I need to put less pressure for the count, and that's health. I want to take because of my wrist. I want to take health in first place. So I really hope that I do get used to it. I have like 15 days to get used to it, even
Yeah.
more. So I'll just focus on trying to get used with this keyboard as much as I can. If it doesn't work, I already proved myself that in 2 days I can get back used to the muscle memory to that one. Because when I switched back to the membrane, the first day I was turning too late. I was in the middle field. I couldn't play decently with any of the keyboards. Had to relearn it as well. But the muscle memory, I don't know. It just came back. So I want to focus on this one, even though this might mean disadvantage. I just need to adapt
Hmm.
faster. I'm pressing keys by accident too much as well. I'm just laying my finger on top and it counts. This is weird. This didn't happen before.
It might sound like a stupid question, but do you think that what is the benefits beside having an instant reaction? Like when you play with something that you're used for so long and your muscles know for so long, what is the potential benefit from switching to something that like you say, now you're reacting too early? Is it a long term gain there, or what is the reason why you actually switch to something that you now more or less have to relearn somewhat?
I think long term gain for this is actually the description of why I'm switching to this because reacting instantly it has as well another difference from my old keyboard. I can switch sides absurdly fast. I can press the key and already release it, and it counts for less time. I just can't be used to how long it keeps pressed right now, but I hope I will be able to. But I can, for example, zigzag in an absurdly faster manner than I
Yeah.
could on the other keyboard. That doesn't bring any advantage. Zigzagging that fast, it's literally useless. But it's one thing that I see I can do different. I can do more stuff with this. It's it it's more reliable. The keys won't break like in the other one that because of how hard I pressed always the left key, it would get stuck inside. Sometimes I had to pull it off. So this hopefully doesn't happen with this one, and I can put less pressure. It's healthier for the wrist, and it has more reliability. I
Mm,
guess it,
yeah.
I'm taking the wild step to go into this, and hopefully it goes better. Otherwise, I can just do an Ayako, just go back to membrane and never use a mechanical again.
Go full Ayoko there.
Hmm.
I mentioned that you are one of the wild cards because, or we can recall it to one of the players who didn't play the beta season. If you look at the other players who joined in this season one of the Trackmania Grand League that didn't play the beta season, who would you say can surprise people the most in the upcoming season?
Oh fuck! I need to remember who didn't play the beta season. So,
I could put up the list if you want.
uh, I think I already can start answering by saying that Marcin can really surprise people because, according to Twitter, most people barely know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I already know him because he really trains stuff or cups that he plays, and he won the qualifier against Plasto. It's like for me, this is enough to prove that he's good enough. Not taking into consideration training, I don't know, but he won against Plasto. Plasto could do better, maybe, but Marcin is probably there to prove what he is worth, how he got that spot, and he'll do well. I think Riolo's calling Riolo a wild card is kind of weird. I think people that have come from him and watch him already have very high expectations from him as being the all-round multiple world record holder according to the
Yeah,
Nordivan video.
yeah,
So uh, I don't know if calling him a wild card is pretty weird, but I
yeah.
think he'll do well because the I guess TMDL maps are shifting into way more. And I think that benefits, for example, a player like Riolu who isn't that much of a tech only, but really goes a lot into other styles. Maybe not that much into the identity stuff, but he'll do fine.
Hmm.
I
By the way,
don't
chat.
remember the rest.
Oh, the rest is Revolution, Orel, Coco, and Tween. The rest has played the Trackmania Grand League beta season.
That has or hasn't.
That has all the other players played somewhat the Trackmania Grand League. So it's basically you, Revolution, Orel, Coco, Marcin, Tween, and Riolo in this season that didn't play the beta season.
I guess all of us have a lot of potential to
Yeah.
do really well. I guess Aurel, people probably already know that he's gonna go well, but he didn't get qualified because stuff happened. You see, let's not talk about that. But yeah, uh, I think he is probably gonna do well. Haven't seen him in a long while. He's now playing for a gaming privé, whatever that is. I hope wish him all the luck. But
Yeah.
he's probably gonna do really well as well as expected.
Mm.
And people might have not heard that much about him, but I guess he's known enough.
Yeah. We are soon closing in on the 2 hours. If chat
Ah,
has any question that we want to ask Matt before we leave, now is the time to answer them. I have one or two topics left, and one of them is the upcoming Trackmania Awards. How much of that did you follow? Do you have any categories that you follow more than others? And if so, what are those categories?
okay. Mm, I don't
Anyone?
know.
Is there something that you feel strongly about, like maybe online event, offline event, moment of the year,
Uh,
competitive mapper of the year?
I think the only thing I have done every single already, like I always do. So it's it's mostly what I do most of the time. In 2017, I ended up getting on the RPG Player of the Year somehow. Somehow is a good description. But yeah, I
Yeah.
played well that year. But I guess I don't follow most of the stuff. I
Mm,
I just watch it a little bit. I don't follow when it's happening. I follow after. I want to see after the results. I don't
yeah.
really follow while it's happening. So I don't know. Maybe moment of the year for me is something extreme as I don't know, Peck and Brand crashing at the same pole. That was
Yeah, holy,
unbelievable.
yeah, yeah, that was
Lit-
next level.
it's things like that that I just want to see as moment of the year. I saw some of the submissions and it's like, nah, this doesn't deserve to be here.
Only one nominee.
Yeah.
I had the last, or one of the last ones I had on was virtual. He mentioned that maybe Kackiest Kacky should be one of the online events of the year. What do you think about that? Or should we need to wait until 2020 when Kackiest Kacky 5 comes out?
I don't know. It's Kackiest Kacky was ended up being one of the things that most brought most viewerage to
Yeah.
YouTube
Hub.
hey, to Twitch. It it simply everyone was wanting to watch a little bit of it. It was good content. It was a different feeling for the streamers that were playing it. I think some of the maps were fun. Some of them were definitely too far, too too extreme. I didn't map. I think a single map for this edition. I don't know if I planned of mapping for the next edition as well, just because Mott used to map every single of the Kackiest Kackys started like a fun project and it's taking those dimensions.
Yeah.
But I think in because of the result, it could be one of the events of the year, but it also then goes kind of against the purpose of having it TM2 only as well.
This year is all games.
It's all games. Hmm.
Yeah.
You see how well I'm into the news. I'm not.
I don't think I should probably make a public statement about that. I think only the jury knows at the moment that it's only all games.
I didn't knew that.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
thanks for reminding me.
it wasn't that much stuff that happened in TMNF this year. Apart
Yeah.
from that, I don't know. Maybe
Nadeo, it's Nadeo.
Nadeo is Nadeo. I was going to say that still. I don't know. It's how many days? 12 days? No,
11 or
I don't know how to count. There are
yeah,
11
whatever.
world records still left, and it's a hard task. Demon just helped with one today, but it's still
Oh
too
yeah.
much to take all of them down. So uh, I guess it'll next year. I don't know how it's going. I don't know. They made a Discord, right? And I should also be making a SK3, which I can publicly say I am completely incapable of. I used to have my ability to edit stuff and do stuff, but I can help with only the creative part, and that's it. Uh,
But you said that you might map and might not map. How do you even go ahead on mapping for an event like this? Because from what I understand for virtual, is basically having a map that maybe you can finish in, I don't know, 2 hours, 3 hours, that people has to finish in 10 minutes, and because of the server timeout.
yeah, this was like the original intent because Keki is the style of too random, too extremely. It's like one random level above Lunatics. We wanted to do the Kackiest of the Kacky, things that were absurdly hard to finish. So we just had the dumbest ideas we could take and try to map them, or just random replays that weird stuff happened in the replay and just transform that into a map. That's basically how things go. But we tried to lower the difficulty a little bit because in some of the years it was just too intense. Uh, but if Kackiest Kacky 5 goes back with this mentality, it can be hell for the players that are playing. But that's I don't know. For example, the old me in 2013, I would simply love this, just the challenge, this the everything. Because last Kackiest Kacky editions, I wasn't the one that was trying to play for many hours to get the maps. I'll just join the server, finish whatever I could, spend at max like 1 hour every 2 or 3 days, not really focus on it, and I always ended up doing well most of the times because my maps were there and I could finish my maps easily because I knew how to finish them, or I just got lucky at the other maps because I'm really good at getting lucky at Keki stuff. But it's just it's a cup that can be good. You just I think now for mapping for Kekis Keki 5 is join the Discord. You enter a list. It's like a Excel spreadsheet, and everyone has their own spot. They can say if they already made the map, if they already tried validating, if the map is done, if the validation is done. I don't know if it'll go through. I don't know hardness approval if it's
Yeah.
Keki enough or not. If it goes through that, it maybe has to take a to for the cup to actually happen. I've also heard like Keki maybe take a turn into TM2, so it can start having support from Nadeo again. Because Nadeo said that they supported 4, but 5 not really that much because they want to shift their focus more into TM2 only. So yeah, it's a cup that has potential. But
Hmm.
playing Keki maps in TMNF is definitely so much different than playing in TM2. TM2 the car retains so much momentum from bound ridiculous. I can just imagine people will be able to do if it shifts into TM2 is just absurd.
Yeah, that's a good question to bring up. TMNF versus TM2. Göran Witte as what list the three hottest Trackmania bugs that you Like, what is your top three Trackmania bugs?
You've listed top three hottest Trackmania
Oh
bugs.
yeah, that's
Oh.
you.
What do I like the most? I think something that I might like it in a nostalgia level at this point, but Edge bug that was removed kinda in TM2. It still happens sometimes. It's very, very. I simply loved doing it in TMNF. It was complete muscle memory. I simply love the feature of being able to jump faster by being at a very specific angle. The fin bug or checkpoint bug that was removed as well. This MP4, just the bugs that are gone, the ones that I love the most.
Rest in
Simply,
peace.
yeah,
My favorite
that
bug
I.
as well, by
I know.
the
Your panel bugs are too illegal.
way.
But I even went on to create custom checkpoint blocks that could recreate the checkpoint bug as as close to as it can be to the TMNF checkpoint bug because how much I loved it, how
Yeah.
much I miss it. But and I don't know, as third bug, it has to be a maybe water bounce because it literally makes no sense, and I love things that
Yeah.
make no sense. I used like my old 2009 YouTube channel was me filming glitches in Shrek the Third in PS2 with a camera on top of my head, and 9-year-old me with this super voice trying to speak English at
Yeah.
that era already. So I really like glitchy stuff and stuff that make no sense. So water bounce makes no sense, and I love it because of that.
You brought up that you are a member of MOT, was Virtual also was about, and he spoke highly about it. You can see that he's passionate around it. Why are you guys so close to each other, and how would you describe the community inside that clan?
I I would guess we definitely got that close because it literally was a thing to do every day on Trackmania. We just I entered as one of the first test members. I don't remember really the reason why I got in. They just put test session a day after 1 week I joined because they we were basically playing trial at that point, and they're like, "This guy's good at trial. He's in." So we just hang out every single day. I would come back from school. I would do anything. Whenever I could be on my computer, I could just open that Skype group, click call, and someone would pick up for sure. And then more people would join. We would just keep talking for hours and for hours for hours, and it was just great experience. We just play anything that could in our server, the Masters of Typing private server that had like I don't know maybe 1,000 maps with many locals in every single one of them. We just tried to cut everything we could. We tried to play fun maps. We would go through different series from different mappers every week, just playing for fun and enjoying the game. And kind of miss those days because it was really cool, really fun. And yeah, we got that close because we spoke to the same people for that long time. The clan was we didn't even refer to it as a clan as a friends group. It just got too close. It Mott even did some meetings in Europe that I couldn't go because it's kind of hard. The only time I could even planning to try to do a real in ZrT next year, so I need to qualify.
Yeah, pressure is on
Maybe
you.
for oh fuck this off from my table. To need to qualify for a even bigger reason at this point. So I, I just guess we all got lucky to know each other, and we all had so similar interests in the game.
Hmm. Is that something that, let's say that they want to attend another Trackmania event, like where they all can play instead of just having Serato Cup, where it's basically limited slots to only the best of the best, let's say a potential gamers assembly or a event like that. Is that something you would like to do?
Fuck, why
Yeah,
do they laugh
Jesus
that much?
Christ. I think it's a sign that we should end it soon.
Oh my god, I left really more than I should. It was comical timing for it to cut off.
Oh yeah.
Middle of the question.
Okay, so the question was basically if they decide to have a meetup at, let's say, Gamers Assembly where everybody can play Trackmania, is that something that could bring you from Brazil to Europe? Like maybe then have to pay your own money, maybe have to ask Space Station to support you. Is that a trigger point that could made you come from South America to Europe?
I think so. For example, talking like not really related to meeting people, but I really wanted to, for example, to participate in lands. The problem is most of the lands, it's not, for example, the most suitable land for me to play. It's normally just tech or tech. It might be tech.
Yeah.
So, uh, I guess, for example, something that would be more interested to spend my own money to play with, for example, people from out would be something like the Gathering. I don't know if
The
like
Gathering?
Trackmania wise. I don't know if it's the Gathering. I
Yeah,
don't
the
even
Gathering
know.
was an event back in the days, but that's in Norway like a long time ago, I believe. 2011, 2012.
Yeah, I just cited because I don't know, I've seen videos about
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
something in that concept, for
Yeah,
example, uh, uh, that it can have cups inside it, but I just want to be there and play with my friends.
yeah.
And for something that I could ask Space Station, I don't know, orgs, for example, not orgs, cups that could have my interest into playing.
Yeah.
For example, I could have had way more interest in Series Cup than I actually had if I knew I could have money to go there.
Yeah.
Which, if I qualified, I would have no chance of paying my own trip.
Hmm. Virtual is bringing up. Is it the Nest that you meant? That we were playing in the house, 1v1.
Maybe the NES
Maybe.
was,
We're getting
uh,
closer.
yeah. I meant not really something TM related, just something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
big with a lot of computers, and then there's a lot of people there. That's
yeah. Okay.
something that I would want to go with my own money, but I would like to see the NES back.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Who
was
would?
really cool to watch, and
Yeah.
I don't know, there was even karting sessions or something related to that,
Yep.
or
That was
so.
time attack seating, driving go kart.
So yeah, it definitely was really fun to watch, and I would, even if it was only tech, that's one kind of cup that would
Yeah.
make me try to do my best to try to qualify
Hmm.
and
Join the
play.
next Trackmania meetup in Budapest with Dank. He was attending this year in Prague, so maybe you can meet your friend in Budapest next year,
Yeah,
and
fair.
hopefully you survive. Because I won't.
I was going to say you really have to.
I think Virtual also can copy on that after meeting me in Lillehammer. Fucking useless.
That one I didn't have enough context. I just know that every single answer on Twitter, Scotty and you guys was like fucking useless.
Useless and bullshit. That was a great weekend. Next one, next year, if it's in Lillehammer again, come all the way from Brazil now. Then you can see the snow and participate in that, watching cross country
I
skiing, you know?
Yeah, I really want to see snow. I
That's a
have only
perfect
seen
with.
like indoor snow. I don't know if it's like real snow because I have never seen real snow.
We know where you're gonna come next year, Lillehammer 2020 World Cup cross country skiing.
Damn, I'm gonna ski there.
Yeah, oh, that will be a good YouTube video. Matt skiing for the first time.
I already skied in the indoors. It was I
Oh,
already ruined it. I should have
no.
said it.
Yeah, you shouldn't
Uh,
have.
I,
Now the
I
clickbait
already
is gone.
yeah, I already got too much snow into my underwear because I'm not a. I'm really. I rolled a lot of times. I love to do it. I'll do it again. No problem.
You're like that turtle in Trackmania, but just in skis, rolling on your back.
Yeah, it's an experience. I like it.
In the chat, basically the questions are how often do you shave, and then list your top three hottest players. You can answer those if you want, unless you can talk about whatever you want. I'm running out of questions myself, and it seems like the chat is also running off topic here.
What is the top three
Ho-
hottest players? It was
Yeah,
dank.
and then how often do you shave? That was basically the two other questions I got.
How often? Yeah, how often do I shave? I guess it's beard related question.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I
hopefully.
take it off. Hopefully, yeah, yeah. Let's let it in that manner. I shaved this. I don't know. I think maybe 2 months ago, and then I just reduced it, and I shave like here and mustache and here and all this every single day, just because I have no clue why. I just don't like to see it growing there. But I don't know. This beard is very bad hydrated. It looks good, but it's definitely, I don't know, almost dead hair.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, but I'm not that good into letting it be decent.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just I just let it grow because taking it, shaving it normally is really annoying.
Yeah.
Does this
And then
qualify as neck beard? Hmm. Never
I
had
guess I'm
seen it
not a
from
beard
this angle.
expert. You're asking a guy who
Fuck.
shaves once every other week, so
What?
I'm still about to hit puberty,
Holy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm growing beard like a 12-year-old girl. So yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to have it like that. I don't start. I'm not shaving consistently because my parents kept talking to me. If I shave consistently, it would grow faster. So I was like, I'm going to let it grow as much as it can for while shaving the first times, because I really don't want to shave every day, and now I have to shave every day anyway.
Yeah. And then one question here is if you want to be nominated for one of the awards, do you see yourself as a candidate for some of the awards?
I've I think I did that search myself to like go through all. I don't think I myself qualify for any of them.
Hmm.
Maybe not even most improved player of the year. I can see other people doing way better than me there. So
Hmm.
if you select styles, let's see, RPG, full speed, dirt, and tech player of the year, and then only player of the year. So still not. Maybe I could go with a little bit of my own impression, but that's probably because it's my own skin right now to put SSG skin in the skin of the year, and that's the closest it could get related to me in the awards.
Yeah.
Still, not really that much. Maybe I don't know. I really like that skin, but maybe there are other skins that are worth the nomination more because the 16 skins when they're all released, they're all gonna be sick.
Yeah. By the way, do you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Just novice. If chat doesn't hear me, tell me. So maybe you can redo some parts here. Trackmania Heart Award for most adorable personality. I guess that's for me, right? Not for you, right? I need to get those awards. Hosting a award show
Oh,
just so I can claim them myself. That's the idea here. 300 IQ.
200 IQ, definitely.
But
It's the
go ahead.
No, I already forgot. I was going to say shit anyway. Don't worry.
I'm not surprised. People always talk shit after 2 hours of speaking on the podcast.
uh,
But is there anything that I forgot to brought up that maybe you thought if I get invited to a podcast, if I ever do a podcast, that I want to tell a story like this, I want to let the people know about this story that maybe the community doesn't know about, that they should know about, some story that you are burning deep inside yourself?
Damn, this is such a good question. I wish I had a answer in par with that.
Yeah, we should have practiced this. So you're like, yeah, here is the story.
Yeah, damn. I wish I had lived more the Trackmania life to have a history that worth talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. The what if ever people should know anything about me is I don't know. I really like this game. I like
Yeah,
this game more in a in a player way. I don't know. I want it to grow. I want the game to have success because it has so much potential. I've loved it since I was a 10-year-old child. So I really want it to grow further. I I don't know. My trajectory just shows that anyone can go and can prove. I don't know if anyone is the right word, but if you because I invested like 10 years, but I know people that invest so little less time and still reach that skill level. So it's just that I don't know. Maybe people should give more of a chance to Trackmania now that it has a growing potential scenery. More, they should give, and I don't know. Maybe if you already had given a give it another chance. I'm basically selling out for Trackmania at this point with this stuff.
How much do you get paid for this?
Nothing.
You're settled.
I would,
You're good.
it's just for the love of the game that I thought.
Yeah, that's for sure. I can also copy on that and sign under those papers that you just wrote. But do you feel that once I spoke to Hillis after Serato Cup, Alinoa after Serato Cup, they were high on you because you were from Brazil. That maybe you are a pathway into another continent. Maybe you can somewhat help them to reach a market in Brazil because you're Brazilian, so it's easier for them to or for Brazilians to attach themselves to you, even for other South Americans.
Yeah, I think that's the way they see that, and I agree. That's definitely a possibility. Things can happen this way, and I guess I don't know. It's just it depends of the visibility this will get if Brazilian people will be able to actually see it and stuff. Because I already tried contacting, I don't know, news Brazilian news stuff, and I had people that were from CS:GO. They found me. They found my history. They're like, this definitely deserves a history somewhere, but the news sources just didn't want it to. So it's like I guess Nadia wants that, and that's a possibility to another country. And I really hope that I am this if that's what they want.
Rip. Hello.
Okay, so yeah, I really yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't have
Yeah.
more words.
If Brazilian media is boycotting you, I can come back to Peru and host my radio show there and invite you on. And we go the back door into Brazil. We go from Peru and into Brazil. But that will also be in
This
English, right?
without context is amazing, but yes. But yes, this is we will just do that. We'll recreate Brazilian esports media. Just
From the
easy.
way of Peru.
Yeah, easy. Easy clap.
As is coming soon, so we have to small talk for a little longer until she comes here, so we can end the live stream. But no, I have one last question. Once we talk about Peru, once we talk about Brazil, and that is, I'm planning on traveling to South America, but I only visited one country in South America, and that was Peru, where I was for 6 months, and I basically visited every country in Central America. But if there is another country besides Brazil and Peru in South America to visit, what is the country?
Okay. What I have visited from South America has been nothing. But from what I've heard about from people that I know,
Yeah.
is if you already have visited Peru, so that's already like one of the best things to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
But I think Uruguay is somewhere as well because it's close to me. But I know a lot about the history of Montevideo, the capital, and stuff, and it seems to me that it's something that's really worth. And probably the on the border with Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay, the waterfalls. I don't know the name. The very big waterfalls. I don't know. Foz do Iguaçu. It's like the biggest
I don't know.
high, energy from water generation
Okay.
thing. I don't know the actual word for that. I just know how to make up for it. So there as well, it's a very good thing to meet, and probably Argentina.
Hmm.
Argentina, even though Brazil should hate it because our football rivalry, It's just a great place. It has a lot of places to ski that are really cool. That's what I consider as the coolest thing to do that. But maybe you're ready to use the ski in snow.
I think I'm somewhat
so,
used to that.
so maybe it would be there are other stuff there that would also interest you, different from what you already can do in
I like
Norway.
nice beaches and hot water. I
True.
don't go abroad. I don't go away from the cold to go to another cold place. That's not my type of holiday.
so yeah. So if you come to Brazil, beaches are good. It's
Yeah,
I personally don't really plan on going there anymore. For example, unless it's with friends because it's too hot.
if I visit, we have to go to the beach and take a selfie at Rio de Janeiro, Copacabana, or what is it called?
Copacabana. Yeah.
Copacabana. Yeah,
Um. Uh. I might go there. If you go there, I'll have to go there. But
yeah. Then you have
see,
no choice. Podcast live on the beach.
yeah, but I'm not sure if I want to go there.
Oh,
It's.
yeah. Okay.
uh,
We go somewhere else.
yeah, there are many places in Brazil that are amazing. There is obviously one of the best places that people always go, but eh,
Yeah.
its own personal preference.
But yeah, as it's back, now we can kind of narrow it down. If you have any final words, it's been a pleasure to have you on. I didn't expect this one to be one of the longest one, but I'm always surprised about how much interest the guest has to say, how fast time goes by. So it's been really a pleasure to have my first one from South America joining me. I believe you are probably going to be the only one for a long time as well. So yeah, it's been a
Hopefully
pleasure,
this
man.
this changes, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, of course, but let's be real here. But it's been a pleasure, Matt. I will let you have the final words, and then S can cut us out when she's bored of listening to two guys speak for 2.5 hours soon.
uh, okay. Last words. This is hard. It's obviously being a pleasure, yes, to
Good
talk with
start.
you.
Good start.
Good start. Yeah. Uh, I definitely didn't had. I had expectations to answer stuff, but because I had seen so much of the podcast, but I definitely didn't see the time fast. I didn't pay enough attention to the clock. It's almost 7 p.m. as well, so that must mean time has passed really fast
Yeah.
since 3 hours from our first initial time.
Yep.
So I don't know. What do I say to people that are watching and people who will watch this in the future? Hi. uh, I like French fries. I literally had to say this, and I don't know. I'm not I'm not going to sell out for myself for my own Twitch and Twitter, but I already said it now.
You're
Saying
not
the
gonna,
name,
but you're gonna.
you'll have to to discover by yourself if you have interest in that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Thank you all for being here and for watching and for sending questions.
that's for sure. Thanks, chat, for being active, and to my co-host Nick Lander. I see you at the next podcast with more questions, right? But thanks, it's been a pleasure. As you can cut us out now, I guess, so we don't break the record.